sorry for the late review, but, you know, things happen sometimes, and to all the thousands upon thousands of mothers that watch my video, happy Mother's Day. Yeah, we're gonna pretend that thousands of mothers watch my One Piece anime reviews. So quite a bit actually happens within this episode. For starters, it starts off with one of Doflamingo's people, Giolla. Pretty much that was what was going on with the ship, even though that happened like episodes ago, and like if you didn't remember, you probably should watch the recap of this episode so you can remember what was going on in the ship the last time we seen the Thousand Sunny. And she shows up and pretty much she starts turning everybody into like art, seemingly like they're turning into like some weird art thing. Now, it was good in a sense because it was like, holy shit, you know, they're even attacking the Sunny turns into that, they all get turned into like pieces of art. The scene did feel a bit stretched out though. It was like literally up until the halfway point of the episode that scene went, so it was a bit prolonged in a sense, but it was good, and overall just showed the true threat of Doflamingo. Like, he is attacking every little bit that he can. They're even going after, you know, Thousand Sunny and everybody, and they're back down. So definitely a good start for the episode. It just felt a little bit prolonged, you know, typical One Piece stuff where they're adding in like in-canon filler and whatnot. Some of it was funny for the most part, like, you know, little quick one-liners that Brook might say, but for the most part it was very interesting. And also you can see that they have a real big obsession with Momonosuke. One of Jolla's biggest goals, she's like, I will leave all you guys alone, just give me Momonosuke. And they're like, of course not, that they're not going to give. So it really makes you wonder how important and why is he so important, is Momonosuke to Doflamingo's plans. Like, because we know more or less that he has probably one of the artificial fruits, I'm guessing, where it turns him into that dragon, but is his powers beyond what we know thus far? Is he vital? Like, is he, since he's the first test subject, they need him in a sense to create more? Like, it really makes you wonder, why is he so important and vital to Doflamingo's plans? Now, the scene with Rebecca and Gladiator Ricky, very interesting stuff, and actually I like the little moment where, you know, of course the music comes in and it's very sad, and you see that. You can see that there's some sort of connection at the very least, because he's talking to her, and at first he's like, no, nobody touched me, but once she says something, he gets a little flashback of her as a child, and then he listens and goes to get some medical attention. So you can see that there's some sort of connection, whether they're relatives, maybe he knew her as a little kid, but I like that as well, setting things up and progressing little by little what Gladiator Ricky, because at first Gladiator Ricky, like, you don't think anything of, he's just like, okay, he's just one of the participants, maybe he's gonna be cool or something. Now it's starting to make a little bit more connections, and in the anime, I don't remember in the manga, but in the anime, you're getting a little bit more of his like face or whatever with the cracked mask. You can see he has like a mustache, so you know definitely it's not like some burly looking flat-chested female at the very least. And overall that scene was like, it really gave some foreshadowing that at the very least there's some sort of connection between the two, and I actually really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was nicely done. It had, of course, its typical One Piece where it like moves pretty slow, but that was in a sense good for that particular scene. And overall the anime, when it comes to Gladiator Ricky, is giving him more of a presence, because in the manga I remember he was there, but I didn't really like give a shit about him. In the anime is making it a little bit more known, like, okay, this guy is here, he's pretty relevant, you should pay attention to him. So I like that in a sense, and overall that was a pretty good scene. Bellamy right now, this is the ultimate character development test, because he was a piece of shit, of course, when we first met him back in Jaya. Then with Luffy cheering him on, it seems that, like, you know, he's looking like, maybe I really shouldn't be a piece of shit, even though I really love Doflamingo. And right now with that whole thing, that one last quest of like, yo, assassinate him and you could be a part of the family, you know, an executive. So right now this is a huge test for the character, where he's going to go. And overall this is kind of like making a little more sense in the sense of why he was brought back, because a lot of people were like, you know, what the fuck, including myself, like, why would Bellamy return if he's just going to get his ass kicked again and kind of seem as though he's fodder? So this is a good character development test in a sense to see, has he changed and how much has he changed? Is he really going to be a piece of shit and try to assassinate Luffy, even though Luffy had his back when he was getting fucked up? So definitely a good test to see where this character is at, and was it really necessary for him to return? As a manga reader, I will say that I found it pretty hilarious seeing the Bartolomeo and Cavendish scene where he's like, yes, our connection is deeper. And I'm not going to give anything away or anything, but for all the manga readers that are watching the anime, he's seeing that, he's like, yeah, my connection is a lot deeper with Straw Hat than anyone knows. I'm just like laughing my ass off. That's all I'm gonna say. And then we got a little bit of a touch of epicness at the end with Luffy and the bull going in, and like, you know, they get squashed at first, and you know, that's a really good setup for the final blow where he takes out that giant from Elbaf. And I love the little references. It's like, Elbaf was like in the beginning of the series, and like we're still getting giants from Elbaf and stuff like that. It's the little touches like that that really make things feel a lot like overall enjoyable, I guess, in a sense, and like really clever. It's like, you know, stuff like the Elbaf giants. Like they could have just said, oh, he's a giant, but to make it that he's from Elbaf, it just adds a little bit more to like the One Piece foreshadowing and things, how like something that happened in episode 80 will be relevant in episode 580, for example. I really like little touches like that. And when he went that Armament Haki and knocked him out, I was like, epic scene. And overall, this episode, at first, I was like, okay, this is a good episode. And the Giolla thing definitely was one of the things that I felt like, okay, that was a bit too prolonged. But aside from that, this was actually a very good episode. All the little details and the little things that happened, it actually was progressing things along. Animation was actually looking really good. For some reason, the Giolla scene, the art looked like the best. Like, they actually looked really nice and everything. And it was just overall a nice progression and pretty good stuff. A lot of little setups and foreshadowings in this episode. So definitely I'm going to give this episode 8 out of 10. Originally, I was thinking maybe like 7, 7.5. But when you look at all the things that happened, the art and animation was actually pretty nice. Foreshadowing and progression. Yeah, I'm going to give this one 8 out of 10. Very good. Like, One Piece anime, keep it up. Like, even though the pacing sometimes is like, yeah, we don't need to see Luffy's face like 1,000 times before he knocks out the giant or anything like that. Nonetheless, it still is good stuff for the One Piece anime. So 8 out of 10 for this episode. Hopefully it keeps going like this because past like what, 4 or 5 episodes of One Piece have been really good stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do next. Let me know what you guys think. First of all, anime only viewers, who do you think Gladiator Ricky may be? What is his connection to Rebecca? Obviously there's something there because, you know, he has memories of her as a child. Maybe he was, you know, a relative or friend of the family. And what do you think about that scene where Luffy went up and avenged the bull after he tamed him and knocked the shit out of the, you know, giant from Elbaf, where you just like epic as fuck? Like, it looked really nice and it was epic as hell to see Luffy like owning in the tournament. And do you think Bellamy is going to be a piece of shit once again and try to assassinate Luffy? I mean, at the end of the day, he can't, even if he wanted to. Like, Luffy could be dead asleep and he'll still fuck up Bellamy. Let's be clear here. But do you think that this is going to show his progression as a character? And just the overall thoughts of the episode. Again, I felt it was a very good one. A lot of little things happened, and overall it just felt like it was progressing in a nice way, and it had a good feel to it. The only complaint I would say is that it's the typical One Piece stuff where it drags stuff out, and the Giolla scene definitely felt a little bit too overbearing in the beginning, but aside from that, everything was actually really nicely done. That's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked what I had to say, or if you enjoyed the video, then give me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.